it's not just that number on the scales, and that's where people need to pull away from it. They need to just being a journey, being a lifestyle change, and that whole comment, what you're not changing, you're choosing. It's as simple as that.
I love that.
But
mate. I
yes,
love
my knob has got bigger.
that. Amazing. Not often that I get two people on a podcast at the same time, but there's you and there's also the guy behind you. Tell me, who is that guy?
Yeah, so that's me.
Wow, man.
That's me at 21 stone.
Wow.
So to kind of keep me motivated and keep me going in the direction I'm going in, I got myself a cardboard cutout of a really fat version of me.
Wow, man.
So it's a reminder that every day, that even the days when you feel like shit, that you see how far you've actually come in the direction you're going in. And it also creeps you out and during the night when you're trying to sleep and you wake up and he's just there.
So when my wife and I first got together, I used to ride a motorbike, and I remember coming down. I'd been out quite late. I think I'd been somewhere with work at the time, and I'd got back at night, and I was like crept in the house, and I thought, right, I'm not going to take my levers off in the bedroom. So I took my levers off downstairs, and I literally took my feet out of my boots, and my boots were right next to my levers, and I literally left my levers in the armchair. I came down in the morning before my wife. Oh my God, mate, I literally nearly had a heart attack. So do you sleep with that guy in your room as well then?
Yeah, he's in the room all the time. He sometimes gets folded and put away.
Yeah.
But for majority of the time, I just leave him where he is.
Excellent, mate.
Because
I
when
love that.
I go on lives and I talk to people and I'm on TikTok and stuff like that, it's a great conversation starter.
I love that. And I wanna just literally make a point of talking about your t-shirt,
Yes.
because that's something that I am, and I feel like we might go into a bit of a spiral on this one because I've had a very similar journey.
Okay.
However, when I got to where your destination was, I didn't particularly feel very happy. However, I realized back then that when I got down to, so you were 21 stone, because I
21.
looked, you lost 8 stone, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's 50 kilos. I was like, wow, that's a small child or a big small
On a
child.
big child, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like my daughter's just over 60 kilos now, but I'm like, that's not far off where she is. That's like incredible. What makes you, because can you just remind, because I know what it says, but can you just tell me what it says on your t-shirt?
It basically just says stop normalizing obesity, and a lot of people would look at it in a sort of negative, fat phobic sort of connotation, and it's the opposite. It's just like the purpose that you feel when you do take control of your health outweighs everything. So I'm just like, I understand that everyone needs to be seen and have a voice, but it shouldn't be normalized. The way I feel right now should be normalized over the obesity side of it, and that's the thing. Being obese, I can share that story because I know exactly how it feels to be completely invisible.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. So tell me a little bit more then. So what does that mean to you then when you say normalizing obesity? When you say obesity to me, I don't think you're talking about like you say, you're not talking about fat shaming, but we're talking about health, right?
Yes, because I think when your health overall, people look at it as just a number on the scales, and that's normally what people gravitate towards. But for me, it's everything else that comes after it. It's the mental clarity, it's the confidence boost, it's your clothes. The simplest thing is your clothes fitting you, being able to go and do stuff with your family. Like that all comes through your health, and it's not just a number on the scale. So instead of trying to, I fully understand that people do struggle because I struggled. I've been there. I've been in the spirals. I've tried every single thing that was going to try and lose weight, and eventually it just came down to your lifestyle change, and you just have to. It just one day it just clicks and you just go. But it's trying to not normalize that feeling of not being able to change, because that's the bit I'm trying to hit with people. Because people always say I can't do that, and I'm like, no, you. I believe every single person can do it.
100%.
So wholeheartedly, and there's loads of different methods, but my method is simply the one that upsets people, because I tell them the formula's easy, and then they instantly say, "You can't say that." And I said, "No, the formula is easy because it is eat less and move more. But
Mhm.
it's the execution of it that's the hard part. I'm not saying losing weight's easy, but the formula isn't difficult. It really, really isn't. And I'm not a personal trainer. I'm just someone who's lived it. So people can take my comments as being valid or being completely invalid. It's my story. It's my life. It's why I've written the book. It's kind of why I just try and speak to people and listen to their stories, because I believe you can do it. And I think sometimes you just need that little person just to push you in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. And interestingly, when you say that, it's it's those easy steps, and I think it is. I think it's getting into the routine, getting into the right. It's not just eating and moving. It's the mindset needs to be there as well, right?
Yeah.
My coach who I worked with, John Chapman, was on the podcast, one of the early episodes, and his program is called Harder to Kill, and it's not about lean. It's not about getting strict. It's about living life with with longevity, and for that same sort of reason, being able to do stuff in your life.
Yeah.
What was the thing that you weren't doing that you wanted to do most?
Create memories with my son. Like, he's now like I said at the start, he's turning 10,
Right.
and he loves going rock climbing and go ape and all these things that you need your health to do it. And he has an
Hmm.
only child, so he's not got that brother or sister to do it with. And when
Yeah.
your son looks at you and says, "Dad, can we do this?" and you go,
Hmm.
"We can't because Dad's not fit enough,"
Yeah.
something just clicks in your brain, and you need to go, "Do you know what? Actually, let's start doing it." So now, if he says, "Dad, can we go to go ape? Can we go rock climbing? Can we go ice skating? Can we go and do all these things?" I'm like, "Fucking yes."
Yeah,
Like,
man.
100%.
Yeah, and do you know what it is? That thing, isn't it? It's that making memories with them, because they will, they will remember those memories. And I'm a lot about that with my coaching, with creating work life harmony, because I believe balance is bullshit. But the reason I say balance is bullshit is because when you're balanced, you're not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you may as well be, morbidly obese and sitting there and doing nothing, because you are pretty balanced, because you're not doing fuck all, you're not going anywhere. I said something to you last week when I saw you at Ideas Fest, which now means this has to go out next week. Um, and our good friend Jayan, who was also on one of the episodes as well, she went, "Andy, you can't say that." But I think I said something that I don't know whether many people may have said this to you. And
Yeah.
that was, I bet your knob looks bigger now, right?
100%.
Right?
It doesn't just look bigger, it gets bigger.
Exactly, man. And do you know what? That's the thing that I said it because I have no filter, but because I have to say that, that's the one thing I've got a few friends who have lost weight over the years, and they've been like, "Oh my God, like this didn't just change like how I felt, it changed how my partner felt, how how I made everyone around me feel." And without being funny, it's a confidence thing, right?
100%. And that's the whole thing with health. It's not just that number on the scales. And that's where people need to pull away from it. They need to have it just being a journey, being a lifestyle change, and that whole comment, what you're not changing, you're choosing,
Hmm.
is as simple as that.
I love that,
But
mate. I
yes,
love that.
my knob has got bigger.
Amazing. I want to talk about something, because this is my journey, that I went from being 105, um and for me, I feel like I was maybe in a slightly different place. Mine was more about fitness, and mine was more about getting to a position where I thought I might be feeling confident and
Yeah.
thought that it would be better. Um, but when actually what I actually needed in that time, in that space, was actually to feel stronger and feel more confident in my body.
Yes.
So I went from 105 down to 79.
Wow.
Now, that's only half, as I just worked out earlier on. Well, hang on, 79. Yes, it's just over half of what you went down by. So I went down by 26 kilos, and you went down by 50 kilos. I still can't go over that. That's nearly free. Like, for anyone who is thinking, what's that? That's nearly 3 bags of cement.
Yeah. It's
That's
100, I think about it. It's
mad.
like 100 £112, I think. It's over
See,
£100.
I had to put it into kilos because my brain doesn't work like that. I feel like miles an hour, I still don't understand. Kilometers an hour, I sort of get it. um, so what happened with you then, that when you, because when I got to my lowest, what happened then for you? What happened when you were, and I talk about magic isn't found in perfection, but when you found your comfort zone,
Yeah.
like,
So,
how did you know to stop, level out? Like,
well, I think on the journey, for me, again, this is why I portray that it's a lifestyle change. It sort of plateaued every time I hit a milestone. So I would
hmm
plateau for a month or so, and then I would then decide, actually, I'm going to go harder. I'm going to go harder. So the first 4 stone that I lost was simply just by walking every day and staying in my deficit. Then that was it. And then I then built the confidence enough to then decide, right, I'm now going to step in the gym. So I then started going to the gym from 17, got from 17 down to 15 stone. And then I was like, right, I'm quite happy at 15. And then one day I just clicked and went, that's not the number you want.
hmm
So I then dived into a 70 days hard challenge. And then in the 70 days, I went from the 15 down to the 13.
Tell me about the 70 days hard challenge, man, because I know so many
So,
people have done it. I know so many people who
yeah,
have not
so
completed it.
yeah, it was difficult. It was so hard. So behind me, I had the whiteboard.
hmm
I had the hope that the 70 days marked out on like a grid, and every day I would need to circle and tick. The thing that switched for me wasn't just the physical side of the 70 days. I'd done a complete social media detox for 70 days. I came off Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything.
Wow.
It was gone. And that's kind of what led
Dude,
me.
I feel like you're becoming my hero on this podcast. I'm like,
That's what led to the book. That's what led me to write the book,
yeah,
because
man.
I was so proactive, because I stepped away from it all,
hmm
that going to the gym was like, I was going to do my workout and I wasn't looking at my phone to check who was on stories or who was on anything, because I didn't care. I was in the zone. So yeah, it was very difficult. And then on day 40 of the 70 days, I write about it in the book. I deliberately went and got a takeaway, and it was
Nice.
on Friday the 13th. So the day was supposed to be a plan, but it was to prove to people that you can do 70 days, or you can do 69 days consistent, and you can ruin one day and people will zone in on that because they feel like you've failed. But the whole purpose is, I still dropped 2 stone in 70 days. I just, one day doesn't define the full success of it. And it was to try and show people that someone can turn around and say you failed your 70 days because halfway through it you went and got a takeaway. And I'll just say, right, okay, great. Well, I still stayed consistent. I still lost 2 stone. And the overall picture is showing people that everyone focuses on the stuff you do wrong instead of the stuff, like, for 69 days, I didn't touch anything. I was so consistent.
Yeah.
I was on the ball. And then one day I decided, right, go and get a Pepe's, post it on your story. I was getting messages from people being like, "You fucked it. That didn't happen. Like, I thought you're 70 days," and I was like, "Wow, the social experiment that I was trying to prove has just worked to a fucking T."
Wow, man. Do you know what's really bad as well? And that's something I feel like, as society, people are so quick to do, isn't it? It's like, um, they're quick to judge, but at
Yes.
the same time, like, you just had 69 incredible days of results. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not called 70 days hard for no reason. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, if you'd have done like 69 days of takeaways in one day, like, I would say, yeah, yeah, fair play. You didn't get through it, but like, man, that's amazing. But it's like, how did that make you feel when you then started to see that? Did that kind of knock your confidence a little bit in any way?
It proved everything that I was trying to prove to people. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. I've now, again, with going to Ideas Fest and speaking to more people, I've developed that concept of nobody cares. And I
hmm
take that again in such a positive way, because it's like, no one cares about your content you're posting. No one cares about what you're doing. Like, you need to care the most. So if you care the most, like, you can run with it. So for instance, because people were saying to me, like, don't do it, like, you'll feel bad for it. And I was like, I don't feel bad. It's the same, that whole embarrassment feel. Like, people say, oh, that's embarrassing. If you don't feel embarrassed,
Yeah.
who's it embarrassing for? Like, it does, like, I don't care about other people's validation now. But
hmm
equally, it's trying to help people that maybe do want that wee bit of support.
hmm
And yeah, it just proves that people focus on the negatives over the positives all the time.
Where was your shift with that? And has it always been like that? Have you always no? So where was the shift? What was that like? I mean, like, pivotal
Well,
point for you then?
yeah, I think caring for the elderly for nearly a decade kind of makes you realise that life is too short, and you need to create your own luck. You need to do what you want to do. You need to focus on yourself. You need to you need to remember that you are the only person that you need to sort of please at the end of the day. Like,
Mm,
if you don't please yourself, then what is the point? You could please millions upon millions of other people. If you're not happy within yourself, what is the point? That's my argument at the time. Like, why are you doing it? So like that,
yeah,
if
man.
someone was struggling or they were obese and they were coming to me and saying they were happy, I would say, well, why are you now attacking me? Because I just know that everyone would feel confident and feel better if they took that step in becoming healthier.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. I mean, there's sometimes that we look at people online, and I mean, I don't know about you, but the amount of times I've gone, God, I really want to say that, but actually, it's not going to serve anyone but me because, and that's the thing, I mean, I look at certain influencers who give, I think, very bad advice, and so many times I just want to call them out on their bullshit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's a level that it's like, well, actually, they are going to show up for themselves. They need to be true to themselves. Likewise, I need to be true to myself, and that's again not my platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah. 100%. I think that whole, if you're true to yourself, if you're running with passion and purpose, people are always scared to say the wrong thing. And I
Mm,
think as long as you can back it yourself, like someone's going to have an opinion, regardless to what you say. Someone
yeah,
is going to have an opinion, whether it's good or
yeah,
bad. Someone's going to have an opinion. But if it's purpose driven within yourself, doesn't matter. Like someone could tell me, like when I tell someone eat less, move more, that that's toxic and you can't say stuff like that, and that's gonna, like, okay, great. Well, that's how I've done it. So,
yeah,
and then
and
again, I get a lot of people that ask me their opinions on other methods, and I just go, it's not my place to tell you what to do and what not to do, but this is what worked for me, and that's why in the book that I've written, it's not a step by step guide. You must copy me. It's a case of have a bit of self belief, have a bit of trust in the process, and watch how much your life changes.
what I instantly connected with you was when and weirdly we met for like 5-10 minutes, like Ideas Fest last week, and I was just like, oh my god, like so resonated with you. But I instantly felt, and it was weird that I don't know if you watched Dan Meredith's talk afterwards.
Yes, I did.
It was just, and also the I can't remember what it was, How to Be a Good Person in a Divided World, which had Leah Turner and Jay and a couple of other people that were on there as well. Great talk as well. But the two things that came up for me, one on each of those talks, and also we're talking to you, is something that I stand by, and I've done with my daughter, I've done with my wife, is like, I could tell you to do it this way, or I could just show you what I've done.
Yeah,
And leading by example is something that I think that many of us, and like, you've got a, soon to be 10-year-old son, which I will warn you, my daughter's nearly 14. Um, yeah. It's a blink, it really is a blink. You blink and you're like, oh my God, how are you this age? How did this happen? But they're always watching, they're always listening, they're always learning. And I think about all the things that my parents used to tell me to do, but they never showed me.
yeah,
I wasn't, don't get me wrong, my I had a fairly crazy upbringing at the best of the times, but there are lots of things I learned from my parents, but the things that really stuck with me that I really now use now is like when my dad showed me how to do something, or when my dad took me fishing and he cast out and I watched him and I was like, wow, it's like these little things. I probably caught more fish than him when I was a kid, but it's those things. If he said to me, "I'll do it like this, do it like that," I would never have done and learned the way I learned. Um, is there something that you took them from working with that older generation? Because obviously, so you're health support worker, right?
yes.
So, like, what is there something you like took? Because I mean, I feel like every generation learns something from every generation. Is there anything you've kind of learned from them that you're like, do you know what? You guys are doing this really well. You did this really well. And also, on the other hand, oh my God, I'm not going to do it like that.
I think it's just about like that, making your own mistakes. I think you do learn from your own mistakes, and people can
Hmm.
tell you a million times to do something and not do something. You need to sort of find out for yourself. And
Hmm.
I was a middle child, so I was always that one that my dad or mum would say, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
lo and behold, I would go and do it.
And the
um,
youngest was just a little shit and got away with it, right?
yeah, well, she's still, yeah, she's young, and then the oldest, he's a pilot. He's loving life. He's doing what he's doing, and it is what it is. But that whole like I've made mistakes and now I've just taken ownership of them, and I just like, you know, life is life. Like nobody actually cares on the grand scheme of things about your mistakes or what you've done wrong, because nobody's thinking about you the same way you think they're thinking about you. And
Mm.
the one that catches me the most is when people talk about the Queen, and they like
Mhm.
you just have a conversation. You go, "How often have you thought about the Queen today?" And most people go, "What are you talking about?" And it goes, "Well, this woman was an icon. She built empires and all this stuff, and she's not here anymore, and you're not thinking about her.
And we get
So
to think
why?"
about a lot less now because no one's got any cash in their hand, right?
Yeah. So like that, like if no one's thinking about the Queen, what makes you think they're gonna think about you? They don't
Mm.
like they don't actually they don't care about it as much as you're imagining it in your head.
I love that analogy, man. That's so good. That's so good. And maybe it's making me think I should start printing money with my face on it so people can think about me a bit more.
Yeah, just print it.
Yeah, just print it. It'd be fine. I don't know if it's legal,
Um,
but yeah. Um, so, dude, what I want to know now is then, it's like this book, which I spent an hour looking for earlier on because I was like, where is it? Where is it? And then I reread what you wrote and it was like, oh, it's coming out. So when's it coming out? Like,
so for me, and obviously going to Ideas Fest and doing all the stuff that I'm doing, it's to try and get it out in the way that I want it to go out.
hmm
I could self-publish it tomorrow on Amazon, um, and sort of go down that route, but I'm really seeking that publishing deal.
hmm
Um, More so just so that it's not out with my control, but it's more so that it's in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing. Because as I've said, when I spoke to Wes and Curtis and loads of people at Ideas Fest, I know fucking nothing about business. Nothing. But I do know
I'm,
people, so I'm like, I want the story to get out there, and by raising more awareness of the story, instead of just instantly going, I'm going to self-publish, there's a book, give me lots of money. I want to build the story behind it as to why the story is so purpose driven and make people want to read it. Because again, on the element of nobody cares,
mhm,
no one cares that I've written a book, believe it or not.
yeah.
And I've been giving it away recently for free via emails just to get that feedback form from people
hmm
that want it. And even giving it to people for free, probably 10% of them that have asked me for it. So they've literally said, I want to read it. You're lucky if 10% have came back and gave me feedback, because again, everyone's life is so busy. But
Wow.
the 10% that have came back has been fantastic, so good, and that's just like, okay, great. So my next step in trying to get it published is potentially trying to head down to London once I've got some more copies printed off, stand outside Penguin, big massive publishing company, inside a penguin costume, because I've got one. I can get my hands on a penguin costume and just hand them out to staff as they walk into the building, just to get someone to read it. I need that one person to read it and go, fuck, this cunt's got a story.
Love that, man. That is the
Um,
best thing ever.
so yeah, it's trying to build the purpose around it instead of just a book, because there's millions upon millions of books out there. And if there's not a story behind it and there's not something behind it that makes people want to read it, they're not gonna fucking read it.
What other publishers are there that I mean, like honestly, I don't know because
I
I
think there's
self
Wiley. I think when I sat on the beanbag and I was speaking to people at Ideas Fest, which again, best way to speak to people, was just sat on a beanbag and said, "Tell me a story."
with a
That's it.
little, and it looked like almost. You know what I loved about it? You almost looked like you could be homeless because you wrote it on a piece of
Yeah.
cardboard, right?
And that's it. And the thing is, people focus solely on everything needs to be perfect before
Yeah.
you post it. And I was like, bit of cardboard, tell me a story, sit down. And I think I sat with over 10 people, and they just told me
Wow.
their story. I didn't do anything. They just sat beside me, a complete stranger, and shared their story. That was it. And it was
Wow.
amazing. And it was just that human connection. Again, it just leads back to the book, and it leads back to the purpose, and it leads back to the app that I'm trying to create. Everything's just sort of building up to why and who and what I'm doing for sort of building the story behind it. And then yeah, it was so nice to talk to people. And then they were talking about the Simon chat, the first chat on the Wednesday morning,
hmm
and then they were talking about the paper airplane. I was like, yeah, I
Oh,
threw the
so that
paper
was you
airplane.
that flew the paper airplane, was it?
So
Oh,
it was
mate,
just like, and
amazing.
they were just like, oh my god, that's amazing. I said again, it's building that story so people sort of see it as like, oh, what happens after? Did Simon come and do this and did they do that? And it's like, no, it's sort of that delayed gratification that you just have to take these shots and build a story. And it then sparked conversation when I was talking to Wes and Curtis from Fint, and Wes was like, "You were the guy that threw the paper airplane." I was like, "Yes, I was," and I was like, "That."
And you were also the subject of another talk later on. Did you know that?
No, it didn't.
So I was up watching Simon Squibb earlier on, later on in the day, and someone from, I think the company was called You,
Okay.
threw their pants at Simon. And Simon was like, "Oh my God, I had a guy throw a paper airplane at me earlier on, blah, 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 build it up, told about like what you did." And then like, he was like, "What's the deal with the pants?" And she was like, "Well, someone threw paper airplane. I thought I'd throw a pair of pants." And this lady creates boxer shorts that for every pair of boxer shorts she sells, she donates one to like a homeless charity or whatever. And I was like, what? Like, and I think there's something I really like about this. And I love it because I've not always been the biggest Simon Squibb fan, because I
Yeah.
feel like there is an element of it. I love what he does. I love everything behind it, but I really hope he follows through with everyone.
Yeah.
Because I personally think there's too many people for him to follow through with now.
Again, I'm not, I don't want to stop you. I think he can't physically follow through on everyone,
No.
but the purpose, if you really get into it and read and define it of what's your dream, it's what's your dream. It's not Simon Squibb's going to make your dream come true. It's
And
what's
I think
your dream,
that's the
and
question,
that's
isn't it?
where so many people go wrong because they're
Yeah.
so solely focused on, I'll get to Simon and Simon will make it come true. That's not Simon's job. It's your job, and it's the same as starting a business and weight loss. It needs to come from you, and if you run with purpose and you run with fire and you want it more than anyone, it's your job to make your dreams come true. It's not Simon's job. But again, like that, I threw the paper airplane. His team approached me, took my email address, and hopefully, again, we'll touch base. We'll get on his podcast. We'll just have a chat with him the same way I'm doing with you.
Yeah.
And again, it's your business stops and your life stops if you stop.
Yeah.
And you need to keep going and you need to want it. And yeah, it needs to be purpose driven. So I do agree. He will not help everyone because it's impossible.
No,
He's got too
totally.
many people. But
I
then the amount of people that just message him and they're just money, 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 money. And it's like he's not a bank. He's a man that
Yeah.
helps people, but he helps people by believing in them. So I've took a lot from him in a sense of message companies, speak to people. There might be someone out there that goes, "Fuck yeah, I love that story." You're one
Mm.
person. You're that one person away from just changing your full trajectory.
And do you know
So
what the really funny thing is? Like in my mind now, I'm like, what if your book could be a lead magnet for every PT in the country? What
yeah,
if every PT buys 100 copies of your book and gives it out free to their clients just so they can, like, I mean, what a change that would be, you know?
and like that, it's building that sort of brand behind the story as well as just the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what sells because getting someone to do something they don't want to do is very difficult.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to read the book, they're more likely to go and buy the book and read it rather than just. But even at that, people buy books because it looks good and then they don't read it. So you're like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So in a normal way, I'd say like, I'd drop the link to your book in the comments below. But what's the best way for people to kind of connect with you and follow your journey and be ready when that book is ready? Oh, scan that QR code.
yeah,
Is that your TikTok?
yes, it is. So these were also all over Ideas Fest. I've not had a complaint yet. So these are just stickers.
Nice.
And I basically went around Ideas Fest and just stuck them on every single bench, any seating area, any lamppost style like thing that someone would stand at and look at and just stuck them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And again, it's to build that sort of story and that backing behind and do that initial step. And again, it's that delayed gratification. Sticking stickers might get you nowhere, but it's publicity somewhere. It's,
I love that every conversation on this podcast opens up an opportunity not just for me, but one human connection, which is what I absolutely love. And I love it because I met you in person before I met you online. Like that's not fucking happened for a while. Do you know what I mean? COVID really
yeah,
fucking like it's been
yeah.
that thing. Like, you know, I met so many people that I'm like, oh hey, yeah, cool. Are you a hugger? Like, you know?
Yeah, and I think COVID has a lot to answer for. And one of the stories that I sat with mostly from sitting on beanbag was the park bench girl, who
Mm.
is incredible. You need to get her on for a
She was
podcast.
the she had a little whiteboard, wasn't she?
Yeah, again, and she just sat and told me her story because again, she sits and listens to so many people, and it was just so nice for her just to sit and chat and say what she's doing, and I was like, wow, and it just shows that sort of human connection. She was like, no one talks to each other anymore, and they don't, and I think you get the
Mm,
best conversations from complete strangers because strangers will open up to you. But
yeah.
your friends have got that judgment element on their shoulders, and that's why they don't post online. That's why they don't do this because there's that fear of being judged. A stranger doesn't care because a stranger doesn't know who you are.
No, and do you know what? It's really interesting, kind of almost going back to like what you said there. So I personally, I hate these, right? I hate my teeth. They're horrible. But they're horrible because as a kid I used to suck my thumb. I had a brace, I had it taken out. And of course, then my thumb still went in my mouth when I was a kid. And then like they've all bent and I got it's like I basically look like a vampire. I've had one person in my entire life online comment on my teeth. This motherfucker's got no teeth, is what the guy said. I didn't post. I stopped my advert, my Facebook advert. I stopped my advert and switched it off for about 3 months for
That's
one person.
for one person, yeah.
But no one else had said like,
Because
oh my
again,
God.
and again, it's that sort of that mindset of nobody actually does care. Even the person that commented on it, he's not thinking about you the way that you think he is. And
No.
what Lara said on the Park Bench Girl, she was saying that literally you could walk past something that's embarrassing or it's something that's happening that could be quite big. You
Hmm.
forget about it within 5 seconds. You're then back on your way. You're back going doing whatever it is you're doing because you're the main character in your story, and that's it. And everyone's their own main character.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. Dude, love everything you stand for. I love your journey. I'm I'm gonna get a copy of that book because for a number of reasons, not just for myself, but for my family as well, because I think your story is gonna resonate with kids as well growing up, because I feel like there's so much that we are shadowed by these days, and I think self-love, self-worth are very, very important.
Yeah.
One thing I can say is if I met you, the guy, I'm not talking to you, Liz, the guy behind, um, I would have thought you were happy.
Yeah.
I would have thought you were comfortable. I would have thought you were confident. But you obviously back then weren't the guy you wanted to be or felt the way you wanted to feel. And I think that's one thing that is really important on this journey is if you're not comfortable with your how you feel, how you look, like you can do something about it, right?
100%. And that's the thing. And at the end of the day, it all stems back to you as a person. You need to want it. You need to want to do it. If you want to start a business, you need to start the business. If you want to lose weight, you need to lose weight. And it's like you can have a personal trainer, you can have a gym membership, you can have all these things. If you're not
Mm,
going to use them, they're pointless. So it needs to come something switches inside and it makes you want to do it. And you don't need all those things. They're great and they do help, but you need to just have the mindset of getting up, going for a walk every day, and enjoying it. So I'm currently writing book number 2, which is called "If He Can Do It, So Can She," and I'm actually co-writing it with a good friend of mine. She's lost 12 stone.
wow.
12 stone, and she's just an inspiration. So between the two of us, we've lost 20 stone, which is frightening. Um, and it's basically we share so many of the same values. And the feedback I have had from my first book was that you don't really you don't really resonate with women that much. And I'm like, yeah, funny that I'm not a woman. So that the second book is sort of a spin off of the first book, but belief in that everyone can do it, and it's proof that everyone can do it. And we're not personal trainers, we're not nutritionists, we're just normal people. But we've both got jobs, we've both got children, we've both got lives, and we
Hmm.
both took full control of our health. And but we're both but the happiest we've ever been. But we still have days where we feel like shit or something like loose skin or something, and we're like, ugh. But equally, our health is up there, so everything else improves. Our kids, our parenting, our life. It's that domino effect that when you do take control, everything just yeah,
I
it's
love
fine.
it, man. I love it, mate. Thank you so much for telling me your story, but also thank you for showing up for other people in the way that you've shown up for yourself. Because I talk about this a lot, but the ripple effect, man. You know, it's you're going to make a massive difference in people's lives, and honestly, I reckon you could like you potentially you're looking at like what the content of your book and your purpose and your dream and your goal is going to save lives. It's going to save relationships. It's going to save relationships with kids. You know, because if you're a overweight fat fucker who can't move and you're not spending time with your kids, you know what? Your kids aren't going to have the best relationship with you for years to come.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if there's a health issue or anything like that. And, you know, by all means, I get that. I understand all of this. But when you can do stuff and you can make a difference, you've got it in you.
And that is the idea of it is that, or not the idea, that the reason behind the health issues is everyone's got something going on, whether it's a health issue, a mental issue, something that's stopping them, but it's not someone else's responsibility to pull you out of that. It's your responsibility. So again, with the whole argument is people go to the doctors and then the doctor says, "Oh, you got to lose weight," and then straight away they go on the defence side and they go, "That doctor fat shamed me. That doctor said," and it's like, no, he's just giving you the advice that you maybe don't want to hear. Or for instance, you go to a doctor and they say, "Here's a pill that will help, but on top of this medication that I'm giving you, can you take control of your health a wee bit? Maybe go for a walk every day." Blah 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 blah, and you go, "Great, okay." You leave. You then take the magic pill or the tablet or whatever it is it gives you, but you don't change anything else. And then you go back 6 weeks later and the doctor says, and you say nothing's changed, and the doctor's like, "Well, you've not done everything I said what you have to do." And that's where it comes down to, you need to want it. It's not that the doctor can't grab you by the hands and take you out for a walk, and the personal trainer, you only see the personal trainer for an hour if you're lucky. It's what you do in the other 23 hours that is more important. And again, it all stems back to you. You need to want it. You need to you need to want it more than anyone. If it's the weight loss or if it's start the business, it needs to come from yourself. It can't come from someone else. And if you do focus solely on someone else making it come true, it won't happen.
I love that, man. Thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. And yeah, we need to stop normalizing obesity.
Yeah.
And that wraps up today's episode of the Coffee, Chaos and Confidence podcast with me, Coach Casey. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps other listeners find the show. Also, go and check out the show notes to learn more about my incredible guests. Until next time, make sure you chase your dreams without limitations.